I think we all know that Australia is not the cheapest country in the world to live in, but I'm going to share our cost of living so you can get a rough idea of how much it costs to live in Australia. Ben and I live in the Sunshine Coast. We have 3 children, 3 fur babies, and a 5-bedroom home. So let's have a look how much it costs for us to run our home. For electricity, we spend $307.58 per month. Hopefully that's going to change on our next bill because since the last bill, we've actually had solar installed. So I'm hoping it's going to be significantly less. So that $307 is the cost without solar. For water, we spend $154.81 per month. We don't actually have any water tanks on this property, which is the first time we've not had any water tanks at all. So all of our water at the moment is supplied by the water company. Our council rates come in at $189.56 per month. And our home insurance is a whopping $266.98 per month. That's actually gone up significantly. There have been huge increases in home insurance prices. We actually have our premium lowered because we have sensors on all of our doors, but it's still $266. Our fibre optic internet service costs us $80 per month. To be honest, we actually had NBN through another provider at the last house and it was $70 per month, and it was actually a much better service. Every year we have a pest spray done on the inside and outside of our house to keep the creepy crawlies away. That works out about $21.25 per month. But that only covers our pest spray, so if we got rats or snakes or anything like that, we'd need to pay extra to have those taken away for us. So the cost of housing itself really varies depending on where you're wanting to live, and obviously whether you're buying a house or whether you're renting. So let's look at a few areas in Australia and compare some of the housing prices. Over in Beaconsfield, WA, which is south of the river in Perth, I found this 4-bed home which is listed at 1.35 million. It's got some lovely outdoor space and inside has heaps of potential. For rent in the same suburb, I found this 5-bed home listed at $900 per week. It is pretty close to the city. It looks a decent size inside, as does the garden. Over in Heathmont, Victoria, which is 26 kilometres away from Melbourne's CBD, I found this 4-bed home listed at $1,050,000 to $1.15 million. It's on a 780 square metre block and it looks pretty tidy. I think you could move in straight away. Meanwhile, in the same suburb, I found this 4-bed home listed at $630 per week. Over in Tewantin, Queensland, which is in the Noosa Shire, this 4-bed home is listed at offers over $1 million. It's on a 662 square metre block, and again, it looks pretty tidy inside with a decent outdoor space. In the same suburb, this 3-bed home is listed to rent for $750 per week. It looks like a standard rental with a pretty big yard. Cars. Since we moved back to the coast, the cost of running our cars is significantly less. At the moment, unleaded petrol is $1.86 per litre and diesel is $1.96 per litre. Roughly, we're spending around $300 per month on fuel. This has dropped significantly for us because we don't do so much travelling anymore now that we live back on the coast. Our car insurance for 2 vehicles is $1,235 per year. That's for fully comp insurance, and to be honest, I wouldn't consider anything else. I was in a car accident a couple of years ago and the other driver only had compulsory insurance. He hit my car, but because he didn't have decent insurance, my insurance had to cough up, and thank goodness I was fully comprehensive because my car was written off. I had to get a brand new car and also loan a car for I think it was about 6 weeks. If I hadn't have had fully comp insurance, I would have been screwed. Our vehicle registration for both cars comes in at $1,796 per year. One of our cars gets taken to a dealer for its servicing and the other one gets taken to a local mechanic. We're looking roughly about $250 to $300 per service that our cars have. Let's look at all the extra bits. For our mobile phone plans, we actually buy a yearly package and it works out a hell of a lot cheaper. We're actually only paying $37.33 per month for both of them. And that includes unlimited calls, unlimited texts, and quite a fair amount of data. Our grocery bill at the moment is coming in at around about $250 per week. Around about $50 of that I spend in the fruit and veg shops or markets. The other $200 usually gets spent in the supermarket on all other groceries. I wear contact lenses. For a 90-day supply, I spend $147. For our 6-monthly dental checkup and clean, we spend $195 per person. Our gym membership costs $16.95 per person per week. Our weekly PT session costs $50. Our children are still in primary school, and if you're looking at sending your kids to a state school, then it's coming out round about $550 per year. Those costs are actually for excursions, for an SRS fund, which is a student resource scheme fund, which pays for certain resources such as login details to certain apps, and also for school incursions, plus uniforms, but that does not include any BYO devices. Many of the schools ask parents to supply a device that their child will bring in. So for example, our girls take iPads to school with them. We purchase those in their first year of school, and it's supposed to last them until the end of year 6, which is the end of primary school. Then once they go into year 7, we'll have to buy them a laptop for school as well. You've just got to insist that your child looks after it, that it does last their entire school life. We go to a mixed billing GP and it's costing us round about $50 per visit for the doctor. Again, this varies depending on which GP you go to and also which GP practice you go to. Very importantly, our haircuts. So Ben's barber charges him $40 per haircut. My hairdresser, I go to a few different hairdressers and I'm looking at round about $75 to $100 per haircut. Many of you know that we have 3 gorgeous Pomeranian fur babies. They cost us a fortune. To get a box of raw dog food, we pay around $22. And then we get them special dental biscuits, which cost us $65 per bag. The insurance for our dogs would cost $521 per dog per year. Obviously, if you've got a different kind of dog, it's going to cost you a different amount, but that's just to give you a rough idea. Our dogs also get a flea, worm and tick treatment each month. That costs us $51.46 for 3 tablets. If you were to go out for a night out here on the coast, you would roughly be looking at spending about $15 to $20 for a starter, around about $35 to $40 for a main meal, and around about $15 for a dessert. Obviously, it does depend on where you're looking at going. I'm taking the prices from your average kind of restaurant, like a surf club or a hotel. For a glass of house wine, we'd be looking at around about $10 to $12. For a bottle of beer, maybe about $10. And for a cocktail, we're looking at spending about $18 to $20. I'd love to hear how this compares to your costs. Please drop them in the comments. And if you're looking at moving to Australia, then I highly recommend these 2 videos.